And we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports. Again, we bring you another exclusive, another shaker and mover within the boxing world. We have with us today a very special guest, one who's been on the show before. We've interviewed him before, but more so than ever now is his words and his insight going to be crucial to the upcoming fight next weekend in Russia. I present to you in the room, Tony Cisse. Tony, how are you doing? How are you doing today?
Lovely, pleased to be here, Inga. Fantastic.
Thank you so much for
so
being
excited.
Yes,
excited for this fight, and so I can't wait. I'm dancing every day. I'm just in such a good mood, you know.
Absolutely,
everybody. So it's fantastic.
Great. So for people who don't know who you are and how you're connected to Anthony Yarde, can you take us back in time and let people know a little bit more about you before we get into that?
Oh, just one of the coaches is, you know, it being in his life, just of developing him, helping him, you know, through his life. And he walked into the gym probably 18, 19 when he started. And he's been doing it before, but, you know, just occasional 1 or 2 times a week, you know, in a certain gym. But then when he came to us, Omnibus, we really made sure he knuckled down. A good friend of his brought him down, you know, J. Emmanuel Thomas, who used to play for Arsenal.
Yes.
He's in Turkey. He's playing in Turkey now. But, you know, knowing the family and the dad, my son used to train with.
Yes.
J. Emmanuel's dad, you know. So Jay knew me. He was a boxing coach, and he said he had a special lad. You know, he said he's got everything. He said he looks good. He can run. He can, you know, the kid man is an athlete. He said. I said, well, bring him down. Let me see him. You know, and he did. He managed to bring him down, and that was it. I told him as soon as I saw him, I said, geez, you're a world champ. I told him, as soon as he walked into that gym, I said, you look like a champ already. I said, whoa, it's fantastic. He looked the part. Everything about him just looked the part. He was ready. You know, he was being prepped. Like, you know, he was a runner for the, played football first. Then he was a runner, sprinter. He could have gone to the Olympic Games. He could have played basketball. Could have played tennis. It's one of them kids who could have just picked any sport he wanted to do. And thank God he picked boxing.
Okay, let's talk a little bit more about you for a second, Tony, your background and how you're in boxing.
For me, I was, you know, a boxer for Repton. I was captain Repton. I was an England boxer. I boxed for England, boxed for Sierra Leone, and because that was my mum's country. So when I got older, and they had to get me out the England team, but and then I went and boxed for Sierra Leone. I love boxing that much. I just wanted to keep on boxing. You know, I didn't really want to turn pro because, you know, I just loved the traveling. I loved going around the world, and, you know, it was fantastic. It was the best thing I ever did. And it was the best thing I ever did, never turning pro, because some of the pros, all my friends who turned pro, said you did the best thing. Just looked at the world, watched it, and I enjoyed life.
So what was it about turning pro that said to you, no, I'm not doing that? Was this something?
It was just friends. You know, I used to see friends of mine who were pros, and they weren't getting paid. They weren't, you know, they were finding it difficult. It was, you know, you coaches and would let them down, and promoters would let them down. Promoters used to hide, wouldn't pay certain fighters. You know, were hiding in certain places in buildings that I worked at the time, and it was bad to see. So through that, I just said to myself, well, I'm doing the right thing.
Wow!
Just not turning pro. You know, it was a good thing for me. I used to go and get paid to go and spar the pros. I travelled all around the world to spar pros. They would pay me. You know, it was unbelievable. They would bring out my club, and they'll pay for expenses and everything just to travel the world to go and spar the best around the world. So it was one of them cases where I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed the traveling. It was fantastic.
Talk to me about some of the guys that you shared the ring with as an amateur.
Oh no, you couldn't just, for all the fights I had, it's unbelievable. Just the best. You had people from this country who David Walker. He was fantastic. He was good. I had a couple of good duels with him, and he probably beat me at that time. Boxing at a good time. He was very very. And who else? We shared the ring with people like Okay. He was very, very, very disciplined. And who else? It was so many. Colin McMillan was around at the time. I didn't share the ring with him, but it was a part of when we were all there as amateurs. It was a fantastic time.
The Repton Boxing Gym has always been reputable for producing good fighters down the years.
Oh, definitely the Oma champions. In my era, we had every weight was a champion. We had beautiful coaches, fantastic people who really looked after us. Georgie Bowles, and there was a gentleman, another gentleman who died from Southend. Fantastic coaches we had, and Tony Burns, who now is suffering from dementia. And he was, we had the perfect crew to take us wherever we want. So we had the people to elevate us, to tell us what we were doing wrong, and to mind us, look after us and just guide us the right way. And that's what you need for young people to boxing. Developing boxing, you need to have the right coaches. You don't have that too much now. We're having these coaches who've come off of YouTube. They watch a bit of it, and then they want to be coaches. And then as soon as they've got a good talented kid, bang, they think they're coaches. You've got to be doing your homework. You've got to have your degree, your scholar's degree, by following that good person that you wanted to. You've got to have a good background in a good boxing ability. You don't have to be a boxer, but you've got to have, I think, that experience, that world experience, to becoming a good coach. And that's what we lack of, I think. And we've got some really good coaches which through down the years, and now some of them are retiring now. And I think now these days we've got to pass on that knowledge to the younger people who were boxers and now want to become coaches. You don't really get a lot of good boxers who want to become coaches. They give the game up, and that's what we've got to really have, more than capable boxers who are out there who box for their clubs, their local clubs, to become good coaches.
So tell me to Tony, this is something I talk about a lot, and a lot of the top trainers that I speak to, from James Early-Bashir to Stacey McKinley to Abel Sanchez, you name them all, Peter Fury, they talk about this lack of genuine mentors and trainers as opposed to YouTube trainers. How can you tell them between a good trainer and a YouTube trainer? What's the difference?
Well, you can tell because, some of them kids now are talking like they don't know where they live. So that's the difference. When you get a YouTube trainer, some of them kids that you can see, they've been hit. They've been a good quality coach would make sure the coach would not get hit a lot, and that was a good thing that we had in our clubs, where we didn't want to have to fight. We wanted to box, and that's what you got to teach kids. The way of boxing, you've got to be universal now. These days, things have changed, but you've got to learn the kid how to move his feet, move the head, and not get boxed. Because boxing is just a one thing. It's just boxing. You've got your life ahead, and you've got, your kids and your family to look after, and look forward to. And the boxing is, if you've been put into with the wrong people and you're given the wrong coach, or you've got the wrong coach, that is it. That coach is not looking out for you. He's just putting you in there for the next round. And, and that's the shame. That's the same thing. This is the thing that we've got. We've got coaches who really never box. I mean, don't make them bad people. It just makes them that they have to have more knowledge. They have to stay in there more time, especially when they have the gifted kids who are really gifted. You know, it's the boxers that get the coaches in the position of being a good coach. And I think sometimes the kids are so, good in what they're doing and how they're going to do it, that these coaches, so-called coaches, think they're number one coaches now. They're the world coaches, and they're not. They're not. So, and what they do, they're endangering kids, the lives of people, and they're spoiling the sport also. They're sending out people for later rounds where they shouldn't have to do it. They should stop certain kids at certain times and certain people when they turn pro to stop the bat and stop them, because there's more than to boxing, just to boxing. It's a life, and that's what they've got, and that's what people have got to really realise. Once you realise that, and you see that boxing's just second, it's that comes second to family and people and community.
Wow. Let's talk now about. I'm trying to find out some stuff about Anthony Yarde before he turned pro and was with Tunde Ajayi. I want to learn more about, because people don't talk about the amateur background of Anthony Yarde. I want to hear more about what he did as an amateur. When he came into the gym and you worked with him, what was it that you noticed? I know you said he was athletic. What about his punching power?
He was there. Everything was there. All we had to teach him was the technique of knowing how to throw shots. But the boy was such a learner. He was unbelievable. He would stay in that gym from when it opened until it would close. And he messed up my life, that boy. I always say, because he was in the gym so much that he messed up my life. I was in that gym 24/7. I couldn't go out. I couldn't come out of there. And that's how eager he was. And he talked about how he was going to be world champ. Serious. All this now is when, and this was probably about, 6 months, into just training with us. He had that dream, and he knew what he was. His dream was to become a champion. He said, I found my space. I found what I want to do now. He tried everything else, and he said, this is my game. He just loved the people. He loved the traveling. He loved being around the box. He got so excited when he was ready to box. It was unbelievable. You couldn't stop him from jumping around. You couldn't stop him. You had to calm him down. Just because he was so excited. When he was fighting, he was excited to train so nobody could beat him. And he was just that kid. He was a likable kid, lovely kid. He was like my own boy. He would tell you about things which are happening in his life, and how he was going to be the best. And he kept telling you all the time, and that who he was going to fight. It was just lovely listening to him.
So you took him through the amateurs. Talk to me about Yarde's first amateur bout. How did that go for you?
He just stopped people. He stopped them, because I knew that he was one of them kids who, he looked so good. I said, I used to say to him, he looked so good. He was like a perfect specimen of a fighter. And I used to say to him, don't take off your shirt when you go in there, because if you take your shirt off, these guys won't fight you, son. I'm telling you. And he was so excited. And he'll get in there, he'll take his top off, and then the opponents won't fight. We'll go to all places around England to look for fights for him. They wouldn't want to know. They want to know. Once they found out who this kid was, that was it. It was hard to get him fights. He was that good, and I stuck him in the box cup, and he stopped the person who won it twice in a row. He stopped him, boom. See, fantastic. And from there, it was go for him, because we couldn't get a fight for another 2 years, and then he just decided that he had enough, and that's what we got. We got good, kids like this, and we've got people who have torn apart. So we've got boxing, amateur boxing, which is torn apart, makes it even worse and harder to get fights. So you've got England boxing, you've got Alliance now. So, you know, two torn apart, two good boxing, you know, authorities now, which the best is England boxing. You know, you got to be when you're traveling around the world and you're boxing for something, the Commonwealth Games, Olympic Games, and they're the things you want to put on your mantelpiece and say this is what you want, you know. And for the other boxing, they haven't been established yet, but in time that may happen from. But I always believe that the best prestige things to win is things that people have on their walls, people that, you know, that know the Commonwealth Games, people that know the Olympic Games, people that know the World Championships. They're the essence of what kids want to box for, because when they've boxed for them and they've done well, then they turn professional. And then from there, it's like big money deals for them if they do well in the amateur game.
So with Yarde, in your estimation, let's say Yarde didn't turn pro, what do you think he could have accomplished as an amateur?
He would have won everything out there, I think. You know, everything. You know, I'm telling you, that's how good the kid would, you know, was. He would have, but you know, he had a sick mum, which is, you know, she's still sick, and he really cares for his family, you know, and I think that were the reasons. He came and talked to me like a good kid would, and he told me the reasons why he was going to turn pro, you know, and he wanted to make sure his family were going to be safe, his family were going to be good, and he's a provider. He was the provider. He was the man. You know, when his dad left, his mum took over, and his mum done everything, but she couldn't do no more. She started getting ill with her back, her legs, you know, and he became the provider at a young age. He went out there and earned money, you know, any way he could, and he found his way through boxing to earn money for his family, and the kid is gonna make sure his mum lives a good life before she does pass, you know, and she deserves it because she's got fantastic children.
So talk to me about Anthony Yarde. So you think he could have won anything as an amateur? Who else?
Anything.
Who else around that time were you working with? So Anthony Yarde's won. Who else was around that time you worked with?
Oh, it was Umar Sadiq, O'Hara Davis. You know, we had a good team. You know, and they all pushed each other, and they still do now. They all go to each other's fights. It was a big family bond. It was fantastic, and you know, they're all turned pro now, and they're all doing well. You know, Anthony is the one who's really topped it off and made a big success and name for himself, and he will do. In a week, everybody will know that name even more.
What is it about Yarde that's been so successful so far in his career, where O'Hara Davis and Umar Sadiq hasn't quite hit those high points yet?
I think they all will, but it's time. It's because one, like I said, it was perfect because with Anthony, I think he was made for it. He knew what to say. He was speaking and what he was going to do and how he was going to do it. He was talking to us and to the boxers and to the other people in the gym. What he was going to say when he wins the World Cup, what he was going to do straight away after when he wins that. Everything is pre-planned. Everything is worked on. So he knew he was going to be one of those kids who's very spiritual, and he knows that nothing would knock him down. There's nothing out there. He doesn't want to listen to negative people. Don't run a negative energy around him. He knows, he can feel it. He'll look at me and they say, "Tone, that boy, I don't want him around me. He's negative. You know, he's not going to let me. I would have to take that boy away from him. You know, if he's talking rubbish near him, he just won't talk to him. He just walk past and just go, and he won't. And then they'll understand not to talk to him because, you know, till they change their attitude. And that's how he was for the gym. He just wanted to be around people who were positive and uplifting, and you know, and said feel like he did, and it was glory to work with.
What was Yarde like? I know that you hear a lot of stories about him giving it out and knocking guys out. What was it like when it came to people engaging with him and trying to hit him back? How did he respond to that?
Oh, he could move his head, he could move his feet, he could take a shot. So the main thing was when we used to do a lot of our work and sparring, he got hit, he got beat up. People, in sparring, but he came back. He came back every day, and he said, "I want to learn that shot. I want to learn this way, and I want to learn that." He used to go home upset, very upset, and then he'll come back smiling, and come back, and then he said, "Bang!" All that week he was practicing, and he'll get it. And once he's smiling, he's laughing, he's joking, and he's doing it because he know he got it right. He got that right, and then he got this right, and he wouldn't stop sparring. For hours he would spar. For hours he would technical spar. For hours. So like I told you, you'll be in that gym from a certain time, in the open, he wouldn't leave. And I liked it like that because he was, they were all out of trouble. They were in the gym, so nothing could happen to him. So we just kept the gym open as long as I could.
Okay. Was there any moment, as a coach, you always have a moment where you go, "That's it. That's what I'm looking to see. Yes." What was your moment for you?
Every time, the first time he sparred people from he used to spar the pros in the TKO gym where we was at, and wow, that's when you see him, these are gifted pros, and he would handle them with no sweat, and then from there I knew that this kid he's gonna be good. So I stuck him into a few little what was it? Some white collar fights to get him more experience. He done a few of them. To get him experience, I just stuck him in anything. The Queensbury, I'd go there, I'd stick him in that. It was funny. He was just stopping people. He just loved to stop people. He trained himself how to stop people. So, and that's what's going to happen to this fella. Kovalev, he knows he has to stop him. He ain't going there to go and play Peter Patter. He's going there to stop him. And in the later rounds, I feel that he will stop him. I mean, Kovalev has got just as good a chance as doing it because he can hit. And he's dangerous for 4 or 5 rounds. But after that, he ain't going to handle a good up-and-coming kid who's spiritually gifted, who's just wants to win. He ain't lost. Do you know what I mean? So he ain't gonna lose. So you can't tell him that he's gonna lose. This kid is going into someone's backyard, Russia. It's going to be very hostile there. I feel. You got somebody coming in to Russia of a different color, and he doesn't even care. He ain't even thinking about that. He's just, and I'm more scared for him than his other. But I would dare not say that because it's all negative to him. See, so but for me. And he has to look after. He's got his mum coming, his sister's coming. So just think what a fighter would have to go through when he's got going into another country, which is I feel is it's going to be hostile towards him. That's how I feel. But everybody's going, to support him. People know he's going to win, especially people from this country know he's going to win. This man. Kovalev, he's on his way out. He's going out. He's had problems with drink, drugs, and this man, you don't touch it. So this kid on itself, you can feel it spiritually that this kid is gifted. Of course, Kovalev has got that. He's that champion. He's been a world champion, and but he's had his day. It's finished. The younger people, you can't. It's a young person's sport. And when a young person, a beast comes in from like himself, he's a beast from the east. He's a real beast. So he would have to really show him that what kind of a beast he is, and he'd have to stop him. And that's all I'm thinking. All I've ever had of him is stopping people. So till that time has run out, because there is a time for that. And I think he'll know when the time is. But for now, he's young. And he's energetic, and he's stopping people, and he loves it, and I love it when he does it.
Now, I'm pretty positive about how Yarde's going to take this approach. But the thing about this thing, people talk about levels, and I've talked about how, for me, I've seen Yarde look levels above the opposition he's fought so far. How far do you think the level is between Kovalev and Yarde now in terms of Yarde's youth and Kovalev's decline?
Yeah, I think it's the level is going to be there on the 24th. You watch, you're going to see this kid. It's not, you can't really say too much and talk too much about it because you think, well, I'm being big-headed about it, you know, but I'm not. I'm telling you, when you see and you feel him and you feel his presence, that's all you got to do, you know, because you feel safe. He used to make me feel safe. I used to be the one who used to be rowing, wanting to do this and that. He used to calm me down because he knew he had that, you know, and not many people can calm me down, believe me. Because when, you know, people try and take the piss out of my boxers or whatever, I'm the first to go. And that man there was the first to say, this, Tony, this is what we're going to do. Do this, do that. And you sit there, you relax, breathe. And, you know, he's a very spiritual man, you know, and he teaches a lot of the other kids a lot of things about, you know, how to be calm and cool and your day will come. And they've learned a lot off of him, the other boxers from, you know, who are with him and who like to watch him, who are fans of him. You can see it, you feel it. He changes a lot of people's lives just by them talking to him and listening to him.
From the amateur days to the changeover to the pros and being with Tunde Ajayi, and you've seen him develop as a Tunde Ajayi, how has Anthony Yarde's style evolved from that amateur boy that came into the gym to meet you to the guy who's about to fight against Kovalev for the world title?
Oh, we see him bigger. It's enormous now. See, because he's found somebody, a coach that really he can bond with, and they do things together. They can, you know, they I think they really enlighten each other. You know, they really talk to each other. They love each other. See, so I think that's where he's evolved. See, he's got greater. The pad work he does, he loves that because they're great fans of, you know. Floyd Mayweather. They went and saw him, you know, a few times, and they, you know, they love all that work. So when a kid likes something, and they really do appreciate what they stay with that person, and they would do things together. I think really things that, you know, are gonna really, you know, make things change. I think boxing itself, they're going to change, and I think they're going to change the way coaches work together, and having a good bond with your coach. Because people like that, you know, Tunde and Anthony would make people see how strong they are with, you know, a boxer and a coach, and coaches would want that for their own boxers, and boxers would want that for their own coaches. You know, that sort of bond.
Tunde and Anthony, when you've watched them, because I've seen you at the gym, you watched them when you're at the gym yourself, and you watch them working. When you look at all what he's doing there and when he's working out there, and then you look at Kovalev, knowing Kovalev, and then you look at Anthony, what do you see in your eyes?
I just think something. I think like dynamite, ready to go. I think that, you know, he just this is what he needs. He needs someone like Kovalev, somebody who's strong and who's going to be, and who's been a champ, to really set him alight. You know, this is the best opportunity, and he's taken it, and I think he will take it. It's going to be a hard one. It's not going to be easy, but I think, you know, he'll make it look easy in the later rounds. That's how special this kid is. That's how good he is. Believe me. And when you see it, the whole world will get to see him. Because at the moment, nobody is really seeing him, you know, because he's on BT. Not a lot of people have got these boxes. If it was on terrestrial TV, you'd have an army of people really following him. I'm telling you. But at the moment, they don't know him. But after that day, on the 24th of this month, you're going to see a lot more people are going to be following.
Why do you think that that team gets a lot of negativity? That they like, for example, they have to, and I agree with Yarde. He has to take a shot. He has to get hurt. I mean, surely because he's got a good defense. Why are people not crediting him for having a good defense and not getting hit?
I don't know, because a lot of people like to go, you know, they like to end up mad, don't they? You know, a lot of people like to have no brains left in boxing. You know, they rather that because they're so used to it. They're so used to these boxers who can't even know where they live, don't know the names of their kids and their wife ends up leaving them because all they can think about is that one shot. That one shot they didn't take. Oh, you could have done more for me. You know, no. You know, these kids now, they've got to be protected. Boxing is a sport which, you know, it's all about hurting your opponent. So, you know, if we can have these kids going into a game, earning their money and coming out nice and safely and having a good life, you know, and everything is intact within their body, their minds. Come on. That's what we've got to see in boxing. That's why
Absolutely.
I think, you know, boxing board of control are doing better, doing more to make sure the safeguard of boxers. This is what it's all about. And I think they need people like that. But this is why this kid is going to be special, because he's going to change a lot of that. You know, he's going to, when you find out stuff, you know, in years when he's retired, and he'll tell you, you're going to be surprised. You know, what he does and what he did and what he, you know, that's all. You know, we see it all the time. You know what I mean? But it's something that you're going to see that this kid is going to blow up big.
Do you have any concerns about what Kovalev brings to the table on the night?
Never. No way. You know, I know he's a strong kid, a strong man, and he's you know, I like him. I like Kovalev. You know, in his boxing ways and style, he's very, you know, he's very there. He's there. He wants it. When he wants it, he comes. He gives everything. 100%. He's not leaving nothing on the. So that is brilliant. And that's what we want. When you've got a lion ready to attack you, he wants to prey. He wants to have the best to eat, and you need it. And that's what he needs. He needs someone like that. He needs a name. And Kovalev's a name.
I've said, you know, just a breakdown I did early on, I said Kovalev's style is tailor-made for Anthony Yarde. Your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, same, definitely. You know, yeah, it's definitely. But he's strong as well. Kovalev can box. You know, he's not just, you know, a bruiser. He can box and he can hit hard. So he's dangerous. You know, he boxed a Colombian. He got beat and he came back and took it and won it again. He trained even better, and that's what it is. So he knows he's got a youngster coming at him, so he knows he's training. So he's training even better than ever before. I feel, but I know this kid is, you know, he's like a Superman. He's Superman. So I don't know how you're going to beat him unless he's got some sort of special kryptonite, you know, for this kid. This kid is so special. It's unbelievable.
Are you concerned about Kovalev not being VADA enrolled?
Oh yeah, of course you would be. Yeah, all of them. I'm talking about not only him. I'm talking about all of them, because it gives them a chance to prove. You know, and if they're going to do that, you know, it's bad for the sport, because how can you have somebody, another guy hitting harder, you know, another opponent, you know, just to win? There's got to be some sort of law rule that everybody must be, you know, set to take tests. Every governing body, every promoter should be promoting this. That's the only way we're going to stop this. We're not going to stop it otherwise, because everybody will go to the next promoter because they know they're not going to be tested, and that's what's happening. And you know, they can do what they want. This thing, you know, so you've got one person testing and then one person not. You've got another person, you know, waiting for the stuff to come out of this system they're doing. They're very clever. I've been in boxing such a long time that you know that, you know, things have happened. I used to go to big tournaments and they're pumping blood. This is years back. I'm talking about in the 80s, you know, and people having laxatives and everything when they're pumping the blood out. keeping it and putting it back into the
Yes,
Oh.
I heard that there was a story about a certain fighter, well-known fighter. He took the blood out of his system, froze it, and put it back in his system so he'd have more stamina, more oxygen.
Yes, that's what I used to do. I used to see it all the time in the ammo game. You know, Tony Burns would say to me, I'll say, what's he doing? Oh, he'd say, I'll tell you later, don't worry. It's stupid if I'm doing it there. You know, and this is a coach who's seen it and everywhere around the world. And he tells us, and this is, we're so, you know, I would just say fortunate to have people who've been around the world. This is the thing that I'm saying special. You need to have coaches which have developed, have seen things. You don't want to have coaches which ain't experienced things, and then coaches who experience things when they've done things, they've boxed and they've travelled, and they've been with great boxers, you know, all their lives, you know, through the amateurs and the pros. And this is how you get great coaches. That's how I feel. You ain't got to be a great coach to become a good boxer to become a great coach. It helps. But you ain't got to, you know, a lot of the great coaches who had world champions ain't boxed, you know. So, you know, it's just doing your homework and being around the kids and loving them and treating them like human beings, not like a bit of meat. And that's what they do. A lot of them treat young people like me. They're payday.
Interesting. Let's talk a bit about Dillian Whyte. What's going on with him? What do you think's happened to him?
Well, it looks like he's been proved right. You know, thank God, because, you know, all that work my good friends have put into him, you know, Tibbs, it's unbelievable. You know, he's made him a better fighter.
Of course.
He's made him look good, you know, you know, you don't want people saying that you're cheap. It's horrible.
It is.
It's not good, and it always stay on his book. And now, you know, and he was that persistent to tell everybody he wasn't. And, you know, he's telling the truth. So hopefully now he can show everything and everybody how good he can get.
Okay, fantastic. Now the big question I want to ask you: you're a man that's been around boxing enough. Talk to me about what you see about Anthony Joshua's career, pre-Ruiz, the Ruiz fight, and what he's talking about now.
Well, I hope Anthony Joshua can, you know, come back and win it back, because it's so important for us. People don't really understand what it means to boxing in England. If we got a person from England being a world champion, we having not only world champions, but a heavyweight champion is that pinnacle of being up there. When you've got a world champion, heavyweight world champion, it says that you're the don. You know, we're coming into the boxing. We're coming back, and that's what it means. And everybody gets paid from that. You know, the TV, the people, everybody in boxing. People get to box more. Young people who are coming up and coming, they all get the rights to that. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important. And there's a lot of pressure, I think, on Joshua to really win that back. Because if he wins it back, a lot of people will get to earn a lot of money. I'm talking about, you know, from the amateur game to the pro game, more pro, because it's a business, you know. But I'm looking forward to that fight. You know, it's going to be a good fight, I think, because when you beat someone, when I've always beat someone, I ain't losing again. I know I ain't losing again to that same person I've just beat. So I know that, you know, it's going to be an hard one. Yeah, and then wherever it is, I don't really care wherever it's going to be, as long as they fight. You know, I think it'll be a fantastic fight. But I hope, you know, Joshua really does get to, you know, bring that belt back here, and it'll help all these up and coming kids for confidence and to know to do things in life. And if you lose certain things, go and get it back. You know, fight for it. Don't give up. And I think that's the attitude we want to give out to our young people within our community and in our sport. Not only boxing, but all our sports, football, you know, cricket, whatever we do, tennis. We've got to teach these kids about confidence. Confidence is the thing that drives us, to makes us the people we are, special people we are. And some people have got more than others, and that's what you got to do. You got to be around them people who have got that juice and power.
What do you make of his trainer situation?
What trainer?
Anthony Joshua, the McCracken or somebody else?
Well, McCracken is. I think McCracken is very, very talented, and he was a good amateur himself. He was a good pro. British stand. He's British. I always used to go and on these shows in Birmingham when they used to. Repton would go to each other, so I knew him from years back. When he was an amateur. He boxed a couple of our boys from our club, and so you knew he was going to be a special, boxer, fighter. And I think people like that, deserve good people like Anthony, who can. There again, Anthony could make him even more of a better coach, by him bringing that belt back, So I only wish him the best. People like McCracken, when he was with Carl Froch, Carl Froch, I boxed with Carl Froch when we boxed for England, and Carl Froch trusted him, loved him, so he knows he won't say a bad word about him, So I know he was a good coach. Because if he didn't like somebody, he'll tell you.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, what else can you tell us? Is there anything else that's going on with you at the moment? What are you doing? What are you up to at the moment?
Me, I'm just coaching good kids coming through. We've got some good youngsters coming through. Freddie, he's a young kid, but he's going to be the future. And you've got Jarrell from our club, Tayo. We've got some good kids coming up. It's fantastic. I can't wait to work with Ahara Davis. I'm hoping Ahara Davis, and back to his best. I want him to get back there because he could punch, that kid. And all of a sudden, he's lost the punch. He's lost to fight and think. So I think what we're doing, we're bringing it back to him, everything that he had, and that's just filling him with confidence because he's got it all. It's just telling him that you can develop with it, you can run with it, and that's all it is. You develop young people within their insights and more, give them more, and you tell them that this is what you do day after day, in every minute of the day. Ingrams, you develop them ingrams in there so they know that they're going to be successful, and that's what it is. I'm doing a few projects in that with a lovely lady, Natalie, who works in the state, and she loves the kids.
Well, wait, you're talking about Hackney. That's my town. That's my area. Talk to me more about Hackney. Come on. I want to know what's going on in Hackney.
There's an estate in Hackney where it's fantastic estate, lovely little estate, and what it is, the kids there ain't doing that much. But so she just rang around. She rang around people. She didn't even know me. She just rang the gym up. She rang the Peacock gym up. She was in limbo. She said that I want to do boxing. I don't know how. I ain't got a coach. And by the time she told me her story, what she's done, she's gone to certain people to raise money, so she can have people talk to young people, because the kids on the estates have been prepped to become road kids, to run road, to run some drugs, etc. And I think, she's doing a fantastic job by seeing that these kids are really ready to be prepped, and there, I said, okay, I'll come down and I'll for 2 hours, I'll go down and talk to them. I deliver boxing, and then I'll bring one or two of the fighters to come and talk to them. And what we're going to do now is hopefully bring them to the Peacock gym, so they know, they see fighters, they see people like Anthony. Because once Anthony wins that, so there will even be more, because he lives in areas just like they do. He's from Milford, see, poor area. You know, it's not a rich area. It's not like Windsor, you know, where you got tennis courts and cricket clubs and everything like that. It's where kids fight and fend for themselves. They want to look like all the other stars, and to do that, you need money. And they know how to go and get it. They know how to make money. It's simple. They'll be the best business people around. You know, the kids in the poor areas, because they've got the mindset for it to become business people. You know, but they're not given the opportunity. They have to be given the opportunity to go and steal and sell drugs and do all stupidness.
Yeah.
And so, you know, people like me, I'm out there just showing them that they've got another way. You don't have to go this way. And you know, if I was a brain surgeon, you know, I'll teach them that. But I'm a boxer, so I can only teach them boxing. I can only use boxing as a tool to steer them away from certain things. You know, I'm glad that, you know, I've done it for certain people, and I'm glad I've done it for my kids, and they'll, you know, touch wood, you know, they're doing the right things. They're all doing certain things in life now, you know. I've got a boy and his cousin who plays for Tottenham, who are doing very well, and you know, he's every day he goes into that place. I'm so proud, because he lives in Newham, where all the kids now have all been prepped to go on road, you know, and it's just mad. It's just, and so we panic. I panic every day. In going to the shop, there's stabbings every day in the week. In Newham, they've got problems with Forest Gate.
Yeah.
You've got problems with Bedton. You've got problems. So you know, and I live in an area where, you know, these problems are every day. You know,
I went to school in Forest Gate, but I was born in Hackney.
Yeah, these things are happening every day. They're killing it's becoming a norm. You know, these kids are you know, it's people. You know, everyday people need to change. We need to talk to our young people and educate our young people into, you know, the knife crime and doing something. Going into a gym, going into a youth club, changing your life. And every kid that goes into that youth club and goes into a boxing club wants to change their lives. So, and that's what we got to see, and that's what we've got to emphasize on. The ones who really want to do it. If you do that, then it becomes a network. You build a network of kids who want to join onto that kid who's done well, who's got out of that. And you know, they might not do it straight away, but in life, in time, you watch, they would want kids, and they don't want their kids doing what they did. So you know, you can get them out of it.
It's all about.
But I think for now, we need to get our young people off of it straight away.
It's about breaking the cycle, Tony, isn't it? It's about breaking a cycle.
You've got to break it, even if, you know, it means you going there talking to them, and that's what I usually do. I usually go to them areas, and you know, you say to them, listen, you see them fighting, you see them going to stab each other, you take them out of them, you say, listen, come to the gym
and sort it out in the gym.
Let's sort it out in the gym, and you know, and we had a project like that where we just sort everything out in the gym. They'll put the knives down. We'd have people who used to look after the door, you know, they'll come in, all the mates will come in, you take all their weapons off of them, you know, and they'll come in and support the guy. And then whoever won, it had to be squashed. It had to be squashed. But then, you know, they shut the gym down. It was happening. So we were doing more for our area than the police were. We were going in there and saying, listen, if you put the gloves on, you're going to stab him, you're going to stab him. Come meet us here and we'll stop it. And it had bigger guys, who were the older guys, you know, who were going to him and saying, listen, let's stop this now. And it can be done. The older boys, the people with more of authority, who you know, the gangster men who run the place, you know, because they filter this down. This is, you know, you don't see gangsters going to prison anymore. They don't go to prison no more. They filter the world down to the 30-year-old. 30-year-old filters it down to 21-year-old. 21-year-old filters it down to 15-year-old, 14-year-old. And that's how it goes now. That's why you're getting a lot more of these stabbings in these areas now. See, and the fights are happening now. It never used to happen. You didn't have people, fighting over this and the areas, but because they've let all the youngsters deal with it. As long as they get their money, they're getting paid. They don't care about our young people. So, and this is what we got to do. I think we've got to give them more opportunity and options. I only know boxing, so that's the only way I could teach it. Certain kids, not every kid can come and do boxing. Do you know what I mean? Not every kid can come and play football. Because once they get to play football, and the football clubs see that their parents don't come for the meetings, because the mums and dads are working, they can't have time off to go to see about the kid doing it. And then what they do, they end up kicking the kid out, because you get the other parents, which are a different mix, different race, different. They're there for their kids. They're watching their kids. They stand on that line, and they're there. Every day of the week. If they want things done, they're there. And our parents, are not there for the young people. So I think that's changing now, because they've seen it. They've seen the light. People have seen the light, and that's what you need to do. We need to, develop that. What would you say? That revolution style of saying, we've got to do it this way. We've got to revolutionize our young people with all the positive insight, to make them the best that they can be. Because if we don't do it, then they're going to pass that same negative crap that they're doing now onto their own kids. So if we can just keep that going, and in time, all this will just have to stop. And I'm praying it will stop when I'm gone.
I'm praying for that too, brother. I'm praying for that too. As I said, I've got an event coming up soon in Tottenham, and of course regarding gun and knife crime, and I will let you know about that as well. Tony Cisse.
Oh, love that. Love to come to that.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
No worries, Tony. For people who want to know how to contact you or where your gym is, please let them know.
Come to the gym. Yeah, Peacock Gym. That's where I'm at. Caxton Street, the world-known, renowned Peacock Gym, run by the Bells. The brothers who just love boxing. They've got that club there. It don't even make no money, but they've got it there. You know what I mean? And they spend every bit of time and the effort to make people come there, and kids enjoy themselves. So thanks to them, and they're people who lived in Canning Town, so they know what it's done. They used to have the football teams there. They used to have loads of things used to happen. So I'm just blessed that we're in somewhere where we can deliver our work and it's fantastic. It's one of the best places you can ever have. The community gyms like that now have been phased out.
That's right.
Phased out. Why? Because you've got the gym, fitness, and these people go into these places and they're just pulling joints. You know what I mean? They're not really
giving anything back to the community. They're detached from the community.
They're detached from the community, yeah. But you're not getting people really want to go out and work their bodies and work their mind, work their minds. Do you know what I mean? When they go there, it's a load of codswallop. When I see these gyms, they just go in to make the money. Some people it's good, but no one talks to each other. This is what I'm saying. This is what I mean. Gyms like this have been phased out because the people that go there, they treat people as family when you go in there. So that's why these gyms are not like that anymore. The gyms like the Peacock Gym. It's the only gym probably in East London, the gym like that. Where you've got the two rings in there, and people can come from anywhere, and then they can watch other fighters come and do their stuff, and say hello and get a signature from star fighters, champions, but make friends. You get old people who do stuff there. We have a thing with the railways where we get kids jobs. So a lot of the people around our area have got jobs through the Peacock Gym, you know, and being in conjunction with, you know, the construction around Newham and the railways. So it's fantastic. It's a fantastic place. You know, you don't get gyms that really care about the community, and that's the reason why, you know, I'm there, you know, because they care. The people who run that place care, and that's why I want there. I could have gone to many other places, but I want to be with people who care about people.
Absolutely. Tony Cisse, once again, thank you so much for being on BWTM Sports, and we are looking forward to next weekend.
Definitely. Make sure you invite me to that food.
I will do, definitely. Tony,
right.
Once again, thank you so much. Take care.
Bless.
All the best. Take care. There you have it. Tony Cisse, former trainer, amateur trainer of Anthony Yarde, giving us his insight on Anthony Yarde's upcoming fight with Kovalev. I hope you've enjoyed that. And yeah, we are looking forward to the fight. We'll speak to you soon. This has been BWTM Online. I'm out. Take care.